the baby could be. Avengers Doomsday started dropping its first clues on December 23rd, 2025, when the initial teaser was finally released on YouTube. And right from the start, Marvel made it clear that this wasn't just a simple trailer, but a short story packed with hidden details. The entire video revolves around Steve Rogers, Captain America. After fighting for decades, he decided to give up the life of a hero at the end of Avengers Endgame, traveling back in time to live out an old love with Peggy Carter. The teaser opens with Steve riding a Triumph T100 motorcycle down a rural road. He passes by a farm windmill in a calm, almost nostalgic setting, very different from the destroyed cities that usually appear in Marvel movies. But one detail stands out. There are tire marks going into the field, as if another vehicle had sped through shortly before. It's the kind of silent clue that suggests something strange has already happened there. Steve arrives at an isolated house, far from any urban center. This is curious because Endgame's script stated that he and Peggy lived in a neighborhood in Washington, D.C. in 1949. Here it feels much more like a remote farmhouse, which raises doubts about where exactly this timeline is located. Inside the house, Steve opens a chest and something is revealed. It's the same suit he wore when he went back in time to return the Infinity Stones to their original places. The act of putting the suit away works as a definitive retirement. He is no longer Captain America. Now he's just a man trying to live a normal life. Soon after, we see Steve holding something. This is the real shock of the teaser. Steve Rogers and Peggy Carter almost never have children in Marvel stories. There are alternative versions in comics and animated series where Steve has children with other characters, but with Peggy, this almost never happens. The closest reference comes from a game called Marvel Future Fight, where a daughter named Sharon Rogers appears. Even so, everything indicates that this baby is not her. The visuals offer important clues. The child is dressed in blue, and there's a blue bathtub in the background. In rural America in 1949, this would normally indicate a boy. The teaser doesn't give a name, doesn't clearly show the face, and offers no explanation. It simply presents Steve as a father, and that changes everything. Throughout the video, it's implied that this child should not exist. Steve went back to the past in Endgame only to return the cosmic artifacts and then come back to the present, but he chose to stay, creating an alternative reality. According to the rules of the Marvel Universe itself, this kind of choice creates dangerous branches in the multiverse. In Endgame, the Ancient One had already warned that removing an Infinity Stone could destroy an entire reality. Now, Steve not only stayed in the past, but also started a family, creating a universe that may be a cosmic mistake, and this is where a heavy theory comes in. There's a possibility that this baby is Victor Von Doom, the future Doctor Doom. The idea is that Victor was born in this alternative timeline created by Steve, baby who should never have existed, a universe that was born wrong. Later on, this reality could be destroyed by a phenomenon called an incursion, when two universes collide and one ends up being erased. Doom, still young, would escape using advanced technology, possibly inherited from Steve himself or based on knowledge of the quantum realm. Even the motorcycle Steve rides becomes a clue. It's a Triumph brand, which means victory. Victor also means victory. Coincidence or a hidden message? The teaser ends without explosions, without visible villains, and without an epic score. Just a former hero holding a baby in silence. But the subtext is massive. If this child really is Victor Von Doom, then Avengers Doomsday may be showing his origin in an extremely subtle, almost poetic way. A villain created not by hatred, but by a selfish choice. Thor's Prayer. Avengers. Doomsday continued its trail of clues when the second teaser was officially released. Unlike the first, which relied on silence and intimacy, this one is loaded with emotion and spiritual weight. Here, the focus is Thor, the god of thunder. He spent centuries living as a warrior, crossing cosmic wars, losing his family, and watching his home planet be destroyed. In the most recent films, especially Thor, Love, and Thunder, he finds a new purpose by adopting a girl named Love, a child created from cosmic energy who becomes his daughter in every way that matters. The teaser begins with Thor kneeling, doing something rare for him.
So that I may fight once more, defeat one more enemy, and return home to her. Not as a warrior, but as warmth.
He talks about how he spent his entire life answering calls of honor, duty, and war, but that destiny has now given him something he never sought, a child, a life that hasn't yet been touched by the storm. Thor asks for strength, begging to defeat one more enemy and return home, not as a warrior, but as comfort. It's a completely different Thor from the one audiences knew for years. As he speaks, he holds Stormbreaker, his magical axe capable of opening portals through space. This is already an important detail, because at the end of Thor, Love and Thunder, the one wielding Stormbreaker, was Love during the final battle. The fact that Thor has the weapon now suggests that something happened to the girl, or that she was taken. Another visual detail stands out. Thor's hair is short again. This is not common. He only had this look in Thor, Ragnarok, after being captured and turned into a gladiator on a planet called Sakaar. He later kept the cut in Infinity War, but returned to long hair in Endgame, and continued that look in Love and Thunder. This return to short hair may symbolize that Thor has entered war mode once again. He's the Godslayer Thor, ready to kill whoever is behind the disappearances. And speaking of disappearances, the teaser reinforces a pattern that starts to emerge in Doomsday. Children are being taken from their homes. Thor is grieving. The environment around him is also minimalistic and cold. Nothing resembles the colorful stages of Asgard or the recent comedic moments of the character. The prayer makes it clear that Thor doesn't know exactly who he's fighting. He only knows that he lost love and that he needs to find her. He talks about defeating one more enemy, as if he's already exhausted by this endless cycle of battles. This teaser connects directly to the first one because both show heroes who finally found something like a family, only to have it threatened or ripped away from them. Steve gains a child. Thor loses a child. Marvel builds a heavy contrast between creation and loss. It also becomes clear that Doomsday won't just be about destroying cities, but about parents trying to save their children in a completely broken, multiversal scenario. Thor, who was always portrayed as an impulsive warrior, now appears as an almost religious figure, asking for permission to keep fighting. He no longer wants glory. He wants to go home. Checkmate. The first two Doomsday teasers were good and full of small secrets, but the third one broke the internet. If the first two focused on personal stories, this one makes it clear that the war is happening on a massive scale. Now the center of the narrative is the X-Men. They're back with the original actors. The teaser begins inside the Xavier mansion, but not in any room previously seen in the old films. We're in a wide space with spiral staircases, circular columns filled with books, and a large stained glass window in the background. The symbol in the glass resembles a blue X, likely the Xavier family crest, the origin of the name X-Men. Just below the stained glass appears a motto in Latin.
That's all I know for sure. The question isn't.
The phrase can be translated as, "Let there be light, let there be strength." This directly references Genesis, when God creates the universe by saying, "Let there be light." Here the meaning seems clear. Mutants are also fighting to continue existing. We then see details of Professor Xavier's wheelchairs. At the center of the room, something floats. One specific piece stands out. The Black King is slowly being lifted, signaling checkmate. For those who don't play chess, this means total defeat. There are no moves left. The king has lost. In the background, it's possible to see Magneto's silhouette. This image is far too symbolic to be a coincidence. Magneto has always been associated with the black pieces, while Xavier usually plays white. Seeing the Black King being lifted indicates that Magneto has accepted defeat, or that he's being forced into it. It's a direct reference to the ending of X-Men, The Last Stand, when Magneto moves a chess piece to show that his powers were returning. Now the scene is reversed. This isn't a comeback, it's surrender. Meanwhile, Charles Xavier and Magneto talk. They speak about death and identity. Xavier says that everyone dies someday, but that the real question is who you are when you close your eyes. It's a heavy dialogue between two old friends who have been through wars, genocides, and countless losses. Both seem tired, wounded, and worn down by time. Then the teaser cuts outside the mansion. Scott Summers' Cyclops is in a tense moment. Here, Scott appears with a look more faithful to the comics than ever. He partially removes his visor, letting red energy escape, while massive Sentinel robots advance in the back. These robots were created by humans to hunt and exterminate mutants. A quick detail shows a Sentinel head lying on the ground, indicating that the battle has already been going on for some time. Scott looks desperate. This isn't a normal fight. This is someone who has already lost too much. This reinforces the idea that someone important was taken or killed. It could be Jean Grey or one of their children from alternate timelines like Cable or Rachel Summers. The teaser doesn't confirm it, but the character's suffering makes it clear that it's personal. Other classic X-Men members like Beast, Nightcrawler, and Mystique have already been confirmed in the movie but don't appear here. This raises the possibility that they're injured, missing, or separated during the attack. There's also the suggestion that the X-Men may be rescued by the Fantastic Four at some point, connecting different universes and joining forces against Doctor Doom. The third teaser makes it clear that Doomsday is not just an isolated threat. It's a coordinated offensive against mutants, against families, against everything that's still trying to survive. And as the Black King falls on the chessboard, it becomes clear that someone is winning this game on a multiversal scale. Lost Dessert. The opening sequence of teasers is finally completed, and while the previous ones showed individual losses, this one openly reveals the collapse of entire nations. The focus now is on Wakanda and Talokan. For those who don't know, Talokan is an underwater kingdom, inhabited by beings who need water to survive and led by Namor, an extremely powerful warrior. The teaser opens with Shuri, sister of the late King T'Challa and the current Black Panther, saying that she has lost everyone who mattered to her. The line is short, but it carries enormous weight. This suggests that her nephew Toussaint, T'Challa's T'Challa's son, was also taken, another missing child, and another devastated parent. Soon after, we see Shuri and M'Baku wearing updated armor. They now combine Wakandan vibranium with blue-green pieces from Talokan. It's a visually clear partnership between two peoples who were once enemies. Even Namor appears wearing a raised collar made of black Wakandan vibranium. They are sharing resources as if preparing for a war that neither of them can face alone. But the most disturbing detail comes from the setting.
The king has his duties to prepare our people.
Behind Namor, a Talokan pyramid appears. This is absurd because Talokan is located at the bottom of the ocean, near the Yucatan Peninsula. Here, it appears right in the middle of a desert, surrounded by sand and wind. The submerged palace has been ripped from the sea and thrown into a completely hostile environment for its people. This points to two equally dark possibilities. Either Doctor Doom literally tore Talokan from its original reality and threw everything into a post-apocalyptic void to build his own battle world, a planet formed from pieces of destroyed universes, or Earth's oceans simply evaporated after a multiversal incursion, turning entire regions into deserts. In either scenario, the Talokan people are doomed. They need water to survive, and the breathing masks they use were not made to last forever. This displacement is not just strategic, it's a slow death sentence. Another curious moment happens when Shuri makes the Wakanda Forever gesture. She seems to be responding to someone off-screen, as if a ship had just landed. This raises an important question. Who is arriving? The Fantastic Four have already been confirmed in the film, but only one of them appears in this teaser.
Of Wakanda.
Ben, Yancey Street, between Broome and Grand.
Reed Richards, Sue Storm, and Johnny Storm remain absent. The strongest theory is that they are arriving alongside surviving members of the X-Men, forming an improvised alliance against Doom. But fans have started to suspect that Teaser 4 went through heavy digital cleanup. In the wide desert shot behind Shuri, many believe there was originally a ship or even a small group of characters that was erased with visual effects since the background looks unusually strange and blurred. And this wouldn't be the first time Marvel has done this. In other films, during trailer promotion, they've always digitally removed important characters, like in Spider-Man: No Way Home, when Tobey Maguire's and Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man were taken out. The Ben Grimm scene, for example, leaves empty space next to him, as if someone was originally standing there. There's a theory that Sue Storm, the Invisible Woman, was removed from the teaser, but another theory has gained even more traction. Doctor Doom himself was likely standing next to the thing. There are rumors that he will start the movie as one of the good guys, helping the heroes deal with the multiverse's problems. This theory gained strength after a leaked set image showed Falcon, John Walker, the actor playing the Thing in motion capture, and even Shuri's foot, suggesting there were more characters present than the teaser reveals. The arrival of the Fantastic Four on Earth would have triggered the new Avengers due to their history with alien invasions, while a space crisis mentioned in Thunderbolts points to the beginning of the incursions, with Captain Marvel possibly investigating this in space. The ending of Thunderbolts officially establishes the group as the new Avengers, and directly connects to Doomsday, reinforcing the idea that the Thing goes to Wakanda to warn them about the threat and seek support. The main bet is that Doctor Doom is already part of the story, and will initially appear as a hero, warning about the collapse of the multiverse while secretly manipulating everyone behind the scenes. According to this theory, the 4 teasers work as clues to the full storyline, showing the origin of the chaos, the desperate attempt to stop the apocalypse, the X-Men facing imminent destruction, and finally the heroes of Earth coming together. There's also the possibility that Storm, the mutant who controls the weather and comes from an African royal lineage, is among the newly arrived. Thor even mentions a life untouched by the storm in his teaser, which could be a hidden clue. The teaser also shows strange codes flashing quickly on screen. Many people thought they were secret coordinates or references to past scenes, but in practice, they're just countdown timers showing the days until the film's release. Even so, the pattern is already clear. Children are being taken. Nations are being ripped from their worlds. Heroes are uniting without fully understanding what they're fighting. Wakanda, Talokan, the X-Men, Thor, and Steve Rogers are now all part of the same broken board. And somewhere off-screen, Doctor Doom is building his new world from the pieces of the old one. But what about you? Did you notice anything else in these teasers? If so, leave a comment. On screen, there's a video about every time Doctor Doom appears in the MCU. Click and watch it. I'll see you there.